Thank you very much. And hi, everybody. Good to see you. Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. Um, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Uli, for putting this together. I love this community. And last time I did this, it was an incredible thing, and we got some real customers out of this. So it's great to meet you. I'm very excited to share what we're working on at Offcall. So I am the co-founder and CEO of Offcall. I'm seeing some familiar faces in the chat as well. So hi, everybody. We are trying to fix one of the stickiest and worst daily workflow challenges in all of medicine, which is referrals. So we're building a new end-to-end referral network and solution for starting with independent practices. We, as a team, working with Dr. Graham Walker, who's the co-founder of MDCalc, some might know him, reaches 80% of the doctors in the US. And we've assembled a group of incredible, 35 physician angel investors, as well as institutional funds, people who have built products used by millions of physicians on a daily basis. And what we're trying to do is solve, as I mentioned, one of the most critical and also broken workflow challenges in all of medicine, which is referrals. To set the stage, there's 150 million specialist referrals every year. This number goes up and up, 400,000 of them every day. As care has gotten more fragmented, it only continues to increase. 50% of those referrals never get processed and never get where they're supposed to get because of leakage and handoff gaps. It's a shocking number. And when you really dig into it, if you're an independent doctor, there's zero system today. Everybody's still relying on fax machines and very manual workflows, 1985 workflows, to both reach other doctors and send referrals between practices. As I mentioned, it's a daily pain point, and practices spend a lot of money on this. Mid-sized practices, independent practices, 50 grand a year on referral management, marketing, patient acquisition tools. Smaller practices, 5,000 a year, a month. And what we've realized at Offcall, after spending many days in the trenches, observing the workflow, observing physicians, observing the referral coordinators, observing the staff, is this is really a discovery problem as much as also an execution problem. And by discovery, I mean knowing who should I refer to, who's in network, who's going to see my patient, who's the right specialist, who are the other docs in my community, is a super big challenge, which right now people are using fax machines and voicemail and trying to find phone numbers of docs. And that's a huge component of it. And the execution problem, fax, prior auth, scheduling, no tracking, no feedback loop is a huge component of it as well. The reason we are really well positioned here is referral volume is exploding, and it's overwhelmed existing workflows. Independent practices are very fragmented. They're squeezed by hospital consolidation. They're still relying on these manual workflows. And now you can build a system to do the matching, to do the routing, to do the coordination that's powered by AI technology that actually enables a lot of the more manual and difficult parts of this process to go away for the coordinators and for the physicians. And so what we've built at Offcall is a single platform, from start to finish. Physicians can use Offcall to find the right specialists, to find other primary care doctors, to network with them and communicate with them in a HIPAA compliant way. So actually to be able to communicate about care, to be able to actually send referrals back and forth between them and their staff, track the status of those referrals, and close the loop as to where those referrals actually are. Has the patient been scheduled? Has the patient been seen, et cetera? And the more difficult parts of this process, the directories and the scheduling and finding and matching and things like that, we are building technology to be able to help facilitate these referrals and these relationships and make it a beloved, magical experience as opposed to what it is now, which is a hated and fraught one. Where we're at is going city by city. So referrals are hyper local, and so we're taking a very city centric approach, which is to build a network in a specific city, build density, build liquidity in that city. And so what we're seeing in our early pilots in Columbus, Ohio, and Greenville, South Carolina, and an expanding group is physicians are using Offcall many times per day, per week, per month. We've been able to scale to a lot of practices because there's a real excitement and network effect here about building a better way to do referrals, building a better network for independent docs. And a lot of that's happening through word of mouth, which is really exciting. Our approach on the go-to-market side is to go city by city, as I mentioned. So seed this network of PCPs and specialists and start to unlock communication and network and trust and referrals inside of that network. And once we're able to build a playbook in that city for what this looks like to get to scale and to get to liquidity and reach all of the doctors in that city, then expand to the next city and the next city and use those learnings from there. And so far, it is going extremely well. We've signed some amazing partnerships with the local medical associations and CIN clinically integrated networks so far that have validated that there's an excitement about this network trust-driven approach to reorienting the way that referrals are done. We've also built a growth engine at Offcall. So many folks have on the call maybe seen we have content, we have webinars, we have newsletters. We're really trying to build a voice for physicians at a time where physicians have lost a lot of autonomy, and referrals is one of those examples. So through that network, we've assembled a very large national network of doctors that, as we launch in each of these cities, we're leveraging in order to seed the networks and be able to expand organically in these places. On the business side, we see a real opportunity here to for specialist practices that today, as I mentioned, are spending anywhere from $5 to $50K a month on a suite of patient engagement and marketing and referral management and referral tools. We see an opportunity to build a model that can help drive patient volume and take work out of the system for specialist practices. And if we're able to do that and scale this is going to become a really big, it is a really big market, but become a really big business really quickly. The core TAM, 15K on average, depends on the practice, with 450,000 practices, independent practices in the US. That market alone is a very large, underserved market, not even talking about the opportunities to expand into routing and coordination and practice visibility and practice marketing and practice patient acquisition tools, which referrals are one example of the suite of things that specialist practices are spending a lot of money on today in order to drive patient volume. Where we see the future of this going is starting with referrals and then becoming this layer, coordination layer, communication layer for independent medicine. Every referral becomes this relationship and this trust network. And once people are on, it's really sticky. It's hard to get off because people want to be part of this. They want to receive referrals. They want to be in these networks with other independent docs. And as I mentioned, we're seeing that the autonomy and the empowerment that this brings to be able to practice in your community is really special and something very unique. And so when people get on, they don't get off. People are excited to be on this network. And there's a lot of opportunities for us to continue to grow and scale. In the early pilots, it's not just PCP and specialist offices, but it's all the other clinical types that need referrals, from imaging centers to chiropractic to PT to all these other clinical types are facing the same challenges and excited about what we can do here. And yeah, just the competitive space. I mean, obviously, we're not the first people who have ever tried to do this and build physician network or try to attack the referral problem. And in fact, it's getting more and more interesting and more exciting as AI has enabled a lot of these workflow challenges to become a little bit simpler. But nobody's really owning this in the way that we're talking about here with the enterprise. There's enterprise tools that aren't built for independence. There's patient acquisition tools, but that really don't do the referral coordination that we're talking about. And then there's the sort of the network side and the trusted network side. Offcall is bringing those together in a really interesting way. And nobody's sort of tackling the space in the way that we are, which is what makes this a really exciting opportunity. And then I'll just wrap by saying, our kind of roadmap, is, as I mentioned, really build this product in a way that physicians turn this into a beloved experience that makes physicians excited to send referrals, receive referrals, communicate with other doctors, launch into these next cities, and use the early learnings from these growth playbooks to go into city 2 and 3 and 4 and scale this. And continue to really invest in building a beloved product here. And then we are very early, so building some of those early monetization experiments is what we're working on right now. So thank you very much, and happy to take a few questions. I heard my
Thanks,
cue.
Jake. So we'll take a couple of questions from the judges for 5 minutes.
And really interesting, Jake. Just a slash observations. One, I must be on your mind, but I don't think I heard the word quality at all in the presentation. So question one is, how are you helping PCP Dr. X get comfortable with the quality of the dermatologist or whatever the specialist is that he or she wants to refer? Because that's a big part of the equation, and that's where a lot of people stumble. The other question is in terms of your traction, I know you're launching your second city. I was keen to know. I'm actually more interested in how many referrals you've facilitated versus how many doctors are on your platform. Because it seems to me the proof is in the pudding. You could have 20 on your platform or 20,000 doctors on your platform, but are they using it? Are they using your platform to connect patient X to specialist Y? Love to know more about how that's going, even week over week, month over month, longitudinally. How are you improving in the core thing you do, which is the facilitation of that referral?
Yeah, so on the first, I'll keep the answers brief. The quality signals are super important here.
For sure.
And what we've seen so far is it's an invite-only platform. It's a trusted network. When colleagues recommend another colleague, like so somebody will go on Offcall and they'll say, who's the right rheumatologist? And 3 or 4 doctors will recommend and say, this is the person, this is the person, this is the person. So it's a sort of a trusted signal.
You're kind of
from other
crowdsourcing it to the collective. Okay.
from other colleagues. And then every doctor is also telling us who their top referral partners are. So as part of setting up on Offcall, they're telling us original data on these are my top guys for this, these are my top docs for that. Over time, there are a lot of interesting data points and signals we can pull into the profile for sure, from claims data, procedures done, and other things.
Make it more
But
algorithmic in the long run.
Everybody can do that.
Yeah.
What we can do originally is since we have doctors who really trust and are telling us a lot about who they're referring to, we can build our own original data set here. And then on the how many referrals are being sent and what that looks like, it's practice by practice specific. And so what we've realized is when you build a node, and so you've got one office that are actually sending a lot of referrals. Once they switch and they use this, then they're running their referrals through Offcall. And so that's really, really exciting because we built an easier way for them to do that. Other practices are using it for the network exposure, when people are messaging each other in the group chat and saying, who should I refer to for this? People are saying, oh, I'd love to do those referrals. I'm happy to do it. So in those cases, those can be one-off, and not every doctor speaks for the practice, right? And so we've been the motion is start with individual doc to doc, then onboard their practice on Offcall's tool, and then once they've onboarded the practice, then they're sending a lot of referrals through Offcall. And so we're tracking it closely. It gets better. We're going to do our first big practice to practice code pilot in California soon, where we're going to be processing more like 1,500 referrals a month, and using it for that volume. For us right now, we're like getting that motion down and getting better and better and doing the matching. Once people like are messaging and communicating via Offcall, doing the matching to be able to send the referrals between their offices.
Jay, we have Martina and Tony that also want to ask questions. Thank you. Martina?
Elaborate on your team and how it fits into your expansion efforts.
Oh, what was the question? I'm sorry.
I'm
Speak
asking
up.
about the team.
The team?
Yes. Can you comment on your team and how it fits into your expansion efforts, city by city?
I'm sorry, just to get is the question like, what do you need in order to do city by city well, or what's the question?
I'm asking who is your team, how many people you have on your team,
I
and
see.
also I assume you are using your internal team to expand to city by city. So I
I
suppose,
see. Yes. Yeah, we have a small team, working with, as I mentioned, Graham, and then we have most of our investment now is engineers, product design, just building a great product. We have a few go-to-market folks. In fact, one referral coordinator who we've hired who's done this for 20 years, who knows these relationships and who's on the ground in our first city and our second city and like actually building real density by being able to be on the ground and be with practices. But we are trying to do a model here that's going to have network of and not be kind of a big army of salespeople on the ground in every city. So we're keeping ourselves really lean and pushing ourselves to be able to like figure out what the growth motion is, where it's product-led growth and it's practice-led growth, as opposed to hiring a big on the ground sales force or go to market.
Thank you so much. I think our time is up. And thank you, Jake, for your presentation and answers.